legend powers. I don't know how true that is, but they were very happy about this. And the anniversary of his death became St. Nicholas Day, for that day that they also found this strange liquid thing. So St. Nicholas was a real guy. He was a Greek bishop, Christian bishop in Greece when it was a time that was not very cool to be a Christian or a bishop. So they treated him very poorly, and they exiled him, and they imprisoned him, and they tortured him to some extent. And I have a quote here that says, St. Nick was reputed to give marriage dowries of gold to 3 girls who would have been butchered or sent into prostitution otherwise. And that quote is from Encyclopedia Britannica online, and that's where our Santa comes from. That sense of generosity, that he was helping people out. Supposedly there are a ton of legends about how he gave people presents all the time, very generous guy. So that's where we get the tradition of Santa Claus giving gifts to people all around the world. So let's get to our first suspect, who is most similar to our American Santa Claus, and that is Grandfather Frost. So why don't you take a seat and tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Grandfather Frost, or also known as Ded Mraz in Russian. I'm dressed very similar to the American Santa Claus. I can be seen in a red hat, a red or blue coat, white mittens, and felt boots. I have an icy staff and can be seen carrying around a big sack full of joyful presents. I travel across Russia with my beautiful granddaughter, Negoraka, which translates to Snow Maiden. According to the article, Russian Grandfather Frost, written by Natalia Shovalova, written in 2007, it says, Father Frost has not just kept his popularity and importance up to date, but is gaining more and more to this day. As you can see, as my popularity is starting to rise, I would have no reason for killing the American Santa Claus.
You know, I gotta say I don't believe you. I think that you might have a little bit, I've heard actually that you have a bit of a past of wizardry and sorcery and stealing children. What do you have to say about that?
I will admit that that is true. In an article written called Father Frost the Red Nose, written in 2007, states it is interesting to note that initially Father Frost used to be a wicked and cruel sorcerer who liked to freeze people. I was greedy back then. I had no presents and I needed to keep the kids ransom in order to get presents from their parents. I'd freeze their parents and I'd take their kids. But that's behind me now. Like I said, I'm more popular than I've ever been, so I'd have no reason to do it.
You know, I can see that greed of yours being a pretty solid motive to want to kill Santa Claus and maybe get access to his infinite inventory of toys for children around the world or something like that. But let's move on to our next suspect. I want to hear about the witch from Italy, La Befana. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, you see, I may seem evil just because I'm a witch. According to La Befana, an Italian after-Christmas story by Salvatore De Vita in 2012, at first I was thought to be an evil witch, but no one actually knew why. See, when I work, I like to sing. But when I sing, my vocal cords tend to release the most hideous screech ever heard by the human ear. So terrible was the sound that the townspeople shuttered their doors and windows at the mere hint of being entertained by me. I was completely annexed out of society. But it's not fair to say that I'm evil just because I have a terrible singing voice. See, I may have my quirks, but I'm actually a kind, hospitable old lady that just likes to stay home to cook and clean. And I just really like to sweep.
You know, I've actually heard that you do a little more with that broom than just sweep, like whacking children in the head.
Well, you see, as for whacking children upon the head with my broomstick, that was before my tragic loss. According to the legend of La Befana by Patty Wigington, some tales say that I'm a widowed woman whose children had died in a great plague. See, I was a bitter old lady before then who let work in the way of actually enjoying life. Nowadays, I try to make up for my OCD by flying around on my broomstick, handing out candy and treats to every child. I even leave black lumps of black rock candy that only looks like gold. Mind you, this only occurs in Italy every January 6th, the day of Epiphany. I already have my own day, and I have no reason to steal Santa's thunder.
You know what, I gotta say that any figure that's willing to whack children on the head with a broomstick is enough suspicious behavior for me to think that she might be the one who killed Santa Claus. But let's move on to our next suspect, Tom from Sweden. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your history?
Well, my name is Tom, which translates to homestead man. I'm found in Scandinavian countries such as Norway, but I originated in Sweden. No one on the farm ever sees me, but I'm known to be an old man, only the size of a small child, and I wear a red cap and ragged clothes. I'm often depicted as a gnome. According to Astrid Lindgren's book about my people, published in 2009, titled The Tompton, my intentions are purely from the kindness of my heart. I watch over the family's livestock, help the farmers go about their work, and at night I ensure no danger will befall the children. I take my job very seriously. The farmers and I have a silent deal. As long as they keep to a steady routine and don't change how things run on the farm, I ensure that they will have a healthy crop each season and be prosperous. I do live under the farms in the basement, the pantry, horse stables, or even the woods nearby. This way I can keep an eye on everything going on at the farm. On Christmas Eve, the families leave me a bowl of porridge with butter as gratitude for the gifts that I bring them on Christmas, and I deliver presents to all the little children by my sleigh pulled by my goat.
I've actually heard you've got a bit of a temper, Tom.
Well, unfortunately, I am very temperamental. It has been recorded on ingbretsons.com, published in 2009, that if I don't get my porridge on Christmas Eve, I will kill the farm's livestock. I can have a temper, but who doesn't when they have to work hungry?
Kill livestock. So anybody that's willing to kill animals, livestock like cows and pigs and things like that, I think is only a few steps away from killing a human being like our jolly old Saint Nick. But you can get back on the wall. I've got our next guy to bring in here. Bring him in, gentlemen.
What's this all about?
Right this way. Krampus, the German Santa Claus. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, my friend?
Yes, I am Krampus, and I am full of the Yuletide spirit. I'm the maniacal companion of jolly old Saint Nick, the adored individual that children globally loved and anticipated more than any holiday figure, bringing cheer and joy to all. Yet my role of Santa is a slightly darker one. We visit the homes of all the little boys and girls in the world on December 6th, and Saint Nick rewards the good children with presents. I, on the other hand, am responsible for punishing the naughty children. A lump of coal is tame compared to the truth. Krampus.com from 2012 details my Christmas role explicitly. Krampus punishes the naughty children, swatting them with switches and rusty chains before dragging them in baskets to a fiery place below. I love working with the jolly old big boy. I never want to hurt him. Before Santa and I make our rounds, the wonderful people of Austria, Northern Italy, and other areas of Europe celebrate my existence with a parade-style affair called Krampusnacht. Running through the streets wearing costumes in my image, indulging in festive drink, and terrifying children and adults alike, I look down upon these mortals in adornment. My holiday is slowly becoming more prevalent in countries such as Finland and France, as well as throughout the United States.
So you've got your own holiday. You seem like you're generally getting over your old past, but I've got a quote here that you've said in some years ago that I think says differently about your relationship with Santa Claus. Can you read that out loud for me?
Ha, you would bring the slander to light. Gerald Brown and his twisted tale, The Yule Lord, written in 2012, spun from a dispute between he and I, used my name with this out-of-context statement. Santa Claus, my dear old friend, you are a thief, a traitor, a slanderer, a murderer, a liar. But worst of all, you are a mockery of everything for which I stood. You have sung your last ho, 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 for I am coming to take your head. I'm coming to take back what is mine, to take back Yuletide. Yes, I understand how that statement could be perceived as malicious, but I didn't say that. Brown may have somehow overheard an argument between old Nick and I, but all business associates have arguments, and me and old Nick always resolve our problems.
Well, you're clearly the most violent of all of our Santa Claus figures here. But you know what? All of our Santa Claus figures here have a strangely violent past. But at the same time, all of them have influenced our American Santa Claus in some way, shape, or form, whether it's the look, or the tradition, or, dozens of things. But, back to business here, Krampus, I think you were sick of living in Santa Claus's shadow. I think you killed Santa Claus. Take him away, gentlemen.
Lies.
It's nice to know we got this all wrapped up.
Officers, wait. I need to clear my conscience. I did it. I confessed to killing the good Saint Nick, and I haven't slept in months because of my mistake. I was out in the stables checking on the horses in the wee hours of the night when I saw what looked like a robber peering into the windows of the children's bedrooms. I panicked. I didn't know what to do, so I grabbed the pitchfork in the stable and I ran to the house. It was dark, and all I saw was this giant looming figure that managed to get inside the house. I lunged at him with the pitchfork, hoping to scare this burglar away, but he tripped and he fell onto it, piercing his own flesh. It was then I realized who I had just murdered. I didn't know what to do, so I managed to stuff him into the chimney, hoping it would look like he fell down the chimney himself. I'm so sorry.
Take her away. We got off this time.
Told you I love the big boy.
I didn't mean to do it.